B stance assisted chin up. Now, before I get into the actual technique of the exercise, something to really keep in mind is probably the most important part is be conscious of the position you're applying force in. For example, if I'm applying force in this position, essentially away from the rack, I run the risk of the bar slipping out and me falling down on my ass and losing some teeth in the process. Whereas if I'm facing this position here, the force is applying and pulling the bar further into the rack. So it's the safest position to be in. Now, B stance chin up. Finding and establishing the rack height is probably one of the most fickle parts of this exercise. Generally start at sort of chest height, standing. If you go higher, it's going to be easier beyond a certain point because you still want to have your legs on the ground. And if you go lower, it's going to make it a little bit harder and also changes the movement. So keep that in mind. You want that sweet spot, but generally start at about chest level, maybe a bit higher. So getting into position, you're on the floor first. The idea of B stance is it uses your legs as assistance, but also gives you the opportunity to practice the movement at the same time. So that way it's a form of regression before you can do a real chin up. So B stance, one leg's gonna come out in front, one leg's gonna be back. I'm gonna make sure I have a vertical torso position throughout the exercise. Again, that's the most important part, vertical. And then I'm just going to perform the pull-up portion of the movement. Notice how my legs are assisting a little bit. They're on the floor, so I'm not using them. I'm not pulling up that extra dead weight. And I'm maintaining a fairly vertical torso position as I perform the exercise. And I'm using my chin-up grip, so hands underneath. It doesn't really matter which position you use with your legs, so long as one is bent and one is straight when performing the exercise. Other than that, don't use momentum, focus on using control and full range of motion. If you need to bring your feet closer together and further in to give you assistance, that's fine, but make sure you maintain that vertical torso position. We don't want to turn it into a row and then all of a sudden we're here. The hips need to remain back and close to the floor, and the chest needs to remain up and out.